Good evening, this is STV News. An autumn review was conducted in which experts checked the waste of effectiveness of the government's budget execution. Former Defense Minister Taro Kono, Minister for Administrative Reform, also participated in discussion on the procurement of the next fighter, which will be successor to the Air Self-Defense Force F-2 fighter. Mr. Kono emphasized, in case of emergency, it is essential to explain to the people how to prepare for the Taiwan emergency and the Senkaku emergency so that they can understand. Mr. Kono pointed out that Chinese defense budget is expanding at a very rapid pace, and the gap between Japan and China's forces is widening. Regarding the personnel and budget of the land, sea, and air self-defense forces, he said, "We will boldly review what we need in the future, rather than dragging past percentages." Experts also requested the disclosure of information to the public. Regarding the next fighter aircraft, the Ministry of Defense has set a budget of 77.2 billion yen, including deployment cost in the budget request for the FY 2009, aiming to start deployment in 2035. Wang Wenbin, Deputy Press Director of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in China, said at the press conference on the 13th that the draft maritime law, which stipulates the authority of the China Coast Guard, which is maritime law enforcement agency, said there is no change in China's policy regarding the sea. He insisted on the legitimacy. The draft Coast Guard law was announced on the 4th by the National People's Congress. Weapons are permitted when foreign ships illegally operating in the water under the jurisdiction of China do not comply with the stop order. Vessels of the CCG are frequently sailing around the Senkaku Islands in Okinawa Prefecture, and there is no concern that tensions will increase. In the fierce battle of the U.S. presidential election, the victory of the former Vice President Joe Biden is certain, and Biden in various parts of the country is showing excitement. In Osaka Prefecture, there are voices expecting a special sale, saying Biden sale. And the bus operator in Yamaguchi Prefecture, who continues to be sluggish, is enthusiastic that it will lead to an increase in passengers. Vice presidential candidates are also playing a role in providing topics in Okinawa Prefecture. The bus stop Kaumida in Ubi City, Yamaguchi Prefecture, is read aloud as Joe Biden. Hiroshi Okazaki, 64, an unemployed person who visited from Kasai City, Hyogo Prefecture. On his way home, he took a picture of the information board and smiled, saying, "It was a good memorial." Although the number of passengers continues to be sluggish due to the new coronavirus, Nobuhiro Furuya, Deputy Chief of the Transportation Business Division, 45, of the City Transportation Bureau, said, "The topic is an opportunity. I want to think of a plan that will trigger a ride." Station replaced the shooting sign with a new one. "We have begun to consider using a can badge for the photo of the bus stop, which was read in katakana as Joe Biden and was given pseudonym." Tokio Marine Holdings announced that it has established a joint venture with PKSHA Technology, which handles data analysis. Tokio Marine HD will improve its ability to analyze vast amount of data, which will lead to creation of new businesses. Kazuyoshi Akaba, Minister of Land Infrastructure, Transport and Tourism, said at the post-cabinet press conference on the 13th that the opening of the Hokuriku Shinkansen between Kanazawa and Suruga was expected to be delayed by about 1.5 years from the spring of 2023. "We regret that we'll strive to shorten the construction period and reduce costs as much as possible." At a meeting of the ruling party Maintenance Shinkansen Construction Promotion Project team on the 11th, the ministry explained that the construction costs will increase by about 288 billion yen, in addition to the delay in the construction due to the occurrence of additional construction and poor bidding. The PT did not approve of this, and the ministry decided to establish verification committee. Kagawa Prefecture that it had confirmed the infection of bird flu at the poultry farm in Mitoyo City. It seems to be highly pathogenic with a high mortality rate. This is the 4th outbreak in a domestic poultry farm this year, all in the prefecture. The prefecture will slaughter about 10,000 birds raised in this poultry farm. In addition, poultry farms within a radius of 10 kilometers were instructed to restrict the movement of chickens and eggs and their removal from the service area. The Ministry of Land, Infrastructure, Transport and Tourism will sell out to eliminate the non-opening crossing where the barriers remain closed for a long time while the railways is an emergency stop during a disaster. In some cases, emergency vehicles such as an ambulance are stuck without opening the railroad crossing, and the policy is to introduce a new system in which relevant parties, such as local governments, discuss measures in advance. We will submit a bill to amend the Railroad Crossing Improvement Promotion Law to the ordinary diet session next year and aim to enact it. Discussion will begin at the earliest within the month at the subcommittee of the Social Infrastructure Development Council, an advisory body to the Minister of Land, Infrastructure, Transport and Tourism. We will summarize the conclusion within the year. At the press conference after the cabinet meeting, Minister of Internal Affairs and Communications, Ryota Takeda, expressed his intention to embark on a fact-finding survey to ascertain the amount of compensation and dispatch allowances for the fire brigade members. Mr. Takeda said, the number of members is under scrutiny as of April 1, but it is expected that the number of members will decrease by 10,000 or more than the second consecutive year. Improving treatment is important for securing members, and the amount will be significantly increased for local governments. I want you to do it. Hachiro Okonogi, chairman of the National Public Safety Commission, announced at the press conference after the cabinet meeting that he would go online for the training of private driving schools, which he attends when obtaining driver's license. It is said that the National Police Agency and the related organizations of the driving school are already coordinating. NASA announced on the 13th that the first manned spacecraft Crew Dragon, operated by Japanese astronaut Tsuyoshi Noguchi, will be launched at 7:27 p.m. on the 15th, Eastern U.S. time. It was announced that it will be launched at 9:27 a.m. on the 16th of Japan time. It was postponed by 1 day from the previous schedule. NASA explained that the postponement was in preparation for the onshore wind and the first stage rocket recovery work. The first operation developed by the U.S. space company SpaceX will be launched by the Falcon 9 rocket from the Kennedy Space Center in southern Florida, aiming for the International Space Station. The Japan Racing Association announced the order of 18 horses running in the 45th Queen Elizabeth Cup, and the lucky LILAC, who is on the verge of winning consecutive titles, is 8th and 18th. Went inside last year's Oaks horse, Loves Only You, was number 11 in 6 slots. Normcore was number 6 in 3 slots. And that's all for today. See you tomorrow for another news update.